All right. This is Rocky at Rocky Hikes, and we have another thru hiker.
Yep.
Your trail name is?
Cool guy.
How did you receive your trail name?
I did most of a thru hike in 2018, and I was on a shuttle to go get a resupply with a bunch of guys in the beginning, and everybody's introducing themselves and talking around. Then they finally came to me and asked me, "So what's your trail name?" And I said, "Well, I hadn't done anything cool enough to get a trail name yet." And someone in the back of the bus just hollered out, "How about Cool Guy?" And it just stuck. So that's what we
Amen.
got.
So now that you're hiking in 2020 and you hiked in 2018, the differences between 2018 and 2020.
COVID, that's a big difference. I started hiking this year in March, and there wasn't many people on trail at all. And the last 3 weeks, I hiked for about a month and a half, and the last 3 weeks of that, I didn't see a single other person. So getting back on trail, I got back on trail about 2 weeks ago, and it's been nice actually seeing other hikers and being able to hang out with people on the trail. So, but that's the biggest difference so far. Well, and I'm hiking a different section. I'm hiking all the parts that I missed the first time around.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So Trail Magic, 2018 to 2020.
I haven't hit any trail magic this year. The best trail magic in 2018 was when my family actually came up and did trail magic at they're going to kill me. I can't think of the name of the gap. It's at like mile 140 something, I think. But they came up
Just before Damascus?
yeah, and they came up and set up big canvas tents and cooked chili and vegetable stew and biscuits and sausage and everything for everybody, and so that was the best trail magic because I was able to be there for the whole thing. And
Well, family is more important than anything on the trail, so if
Oh,
the family
yeah,
shows
so-
up, it's huge.
yeah,
Ask him if he's always been blonde.
yes, I have always been blonde. Yeah,
I
so.
can tell. You don't even that's a question I didn't have to ask.
I used to be blonder when I was younger, actually. But,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I have towhead children, so
right.
I get it. But
So how are your crepes and karma doing?
mine, I'm just gray. If there ain't no towhead, I'm just gray.
You know they have stuff for that. You can change that if
Right.
you want. So
I don't need to.
You don't need to.
Well, the rental on them glasses.
To
you don't
me,
have
I have literally earned every gray hair on my head. Why would I change it?
Right.
I like
You
I
that.
have 4
yeah.
children. I
Thanks
have
for our
grandchildren. Like
Yeah.
seriously, at what point do I need to change the gray
Right.
hairs? Because I've earned every single one.
You can wear each one
So-
as a badge of honor.
So it's your
Absolutely.
party, you'll cry if you want to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is so much my party.
I knew I was looking out.
Right.
So now you're out here hiking, and Trail Magic is pretty.
He's not hiking, he's sitting in the chair.
I'm gonna beat your head, dude. But okay, Trail Magic is pretty obsolete this year.
Right.
Does it change it, make it easier, harder, or indifferent?
So far, I mean, I've only been back on the trail for like two weeks so far, and like I guess indifferent so far. Well, I guess I did have trail magic back in March because I got like
And you had Trail Magic today.
yeah
In a
for
form
sure.
you haven't even understood.
Right. So I
Dennis
mean,
has been here supporting us all
Oh,
night.
thank you.
Yeah.
That's a
Very
huge
nice.
Trail Magic.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because like I was thinking about that. I'm like trail magic's not always setting up on the trail feeding. It's a lot of times just something awesome that happens. Like there's
If y'all
a
need money, I got money for y'all, too.
a couple hitches and a couple rides I got in March that were just like out of the blue. I didn't think I was ever going to get picked up, and ended up being an awesome ride, awesome conversation.
Yeah.
No idea I was part
you know,
of
but,
anything going on.
And then of
You're
course
a huge
today
fan.
too, getting awesome
And
hospitality from
Yeah.
everybody.
Matt-
so-
Matt-
But here's the
Yeah,
thing
Matt Pat.
too that a lot of people just don't comprehend is like the ATC shut down this year, and they told
Ye-
everyone not to go out on trail.
Uh,
I cannot tell you how many times I've come across a tree
I'm getting
where
ready
a trail angel has come out, cut up the tree, and
Oh,
they're not
yeah.
covered.
Yeah. Yeah, I
and
met
made my life easier, because you know how it is when you have to cross trees.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's just roadblock
To
after
me,
roadblock.
that's trail
so.
magic.
Oh yeah,
And people forget about those types of trail magic.
and the people that just leave water at a
Oh my
at
gosh,
a roadside
yeah.
too. Yeah, that's
Water,
literally
beer.
life saving. So
I got lifesavers the other day and thought it was the bomb.com.
Right.
Like, it don't take much when there's nobody doing anything, and all of a sudden you find a tree that was cut up that day.
right, yeah.
And I don't
so,
have to figure out how to navigate that tree up and down and through and
Right.
with my pack, because some trail angel decided to go out and cut it up and take care of it for me.
Oh yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of people out. Like I've always said, after hiking the trail in 2018, that like if you ever need your faith renewed in humanity, like hike the AT, because
Yeah.
like people are just as nice as can be. Go
I've
out
met-
of their way to
yeah.
help you. Like if you're ever low on food, like everybody at the shelter just starts opening their food bag and handing
Oh,
you
yeah.
stuff. I mean,
Absolutely.
Um,
Dennis tonight bought me
oh yeah, that shrimp smelled amazing. Yeah.
freaking a
So.
pound of shrimp next door because he knew I was low budget right now.
Right.
I mean, the trail magic I've received just from people that aren't even realizing it's trail magic is huge.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean when you first asked the question about trail magic, I was thinking set up on the roadside cooking hot dogs.
It's not, but it's,
yeah, it's
just the whole thing.
it's just the people who go out of their way to help you out. Here and there.
Make sure the trail's clear.
Yeah.
And people don't understand how much trail magic, even I met a southbounder this year that kind of irritated me because he said, well, nobody ever does trail magic for us.
Right.
And I looked at him and I go, oh, really? How many trees did you have to cross?
Right.
He said 0. I said, oh, okay. I had to cross several.
Right.
I had a 12 tree drop after a river that last year was up to my ankles.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time a Southbinder comes this year, all 12 of them trees are going to be cleaned up, and they don't have to worry about stepping and figuring out their way through
Right.
that logistical nightmare that I had to figure out.
Right.
That's trail magic.
Oh yeah. I mean, the fact that there's even a trail to hike is amazing because
Exactly.
I mean that's one thing that really hits me is because like being out in the woods hiking, like the thought has crossed my mind so many times of like, wow, without modern civilization, like this is it, like this is the actual world, like all the buildings we build and everything, that's bonus on top of it.
Right.
And so the fact that we live in a society where we can voluntarily come out here and torture ourselves for fun, is
Yeah.
just amazing,
Yeah.
So
And the fact that we have so many people who basically were told not to come out and clear the paths and everything else, who came out and
Yeah.
cleared our paths.
yeah, so
Like, that's huge trail magic, because had they gotten hurt, not one of them would have gotten any compensation,
oh yeah,
but they
so,
just did it out of the kindness of their heart.
yep. So yeah,
That's
like,
a huge trail magic.
oh yeah, I met a guy who was he was part of one of the local trail clubs in Shenandoah, and right on. But he was from one of the local trail clubs, and this was in early March, right when they were really shutting down everything.
So
And
at 11 o'clock, everybody be ready for ice cream because that's when Matt gets off and I'll bring it back.
sounds
Awesome.
good. But he was out there, and it was right after the ATC announced that they were going to close the trail down, and he was like, man, that's the dumbest thing. He was like, you can't be more socially isolated than out here in the middle of the woods, and he was complaining about how he thinks they're just trying to cover their butt if anything happens, and talking about like the insurance, like if anyone gets hurt,
But here's the
it's
thing
not their
is that,
fault. So
like, I've heard both sides of the whole dispute.
right,
I really have, and I have to side with the ATC on some of it, because had one person gotten sick, infected anyone in the towns, it could have shut the trail down indefinitely,
you think indefinitely?
because that trail town would have banned us all from ever coming again, and other trail towns could have.
I guess it's a possibility, but
And that's the thing is, like, a lot of people don't understand, and I hate to say it, but I kind of agree with what they did because it's a political nightmare.
Yeah. I mean,
They have to walk a fine line between the small towns.
looking at the like the political aspect of it, like I could see that, but like me personally, like.
You and I personally are like,
it's your
oh
own
my
choice
God,
to-
we saw so many people at Walmart when we got
Yeah.
sent home.
Right.
But the thing is there's so much political
Yeah.
in the ATC because they have to politically make a stand with all these towns to keep the trail open.
Oh yeah.
So all it would have taken was one person to cause an epidemic,
Right. So.
and they could have shut the trail down indefinitely.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it would have been hard to trace back to the person because of
It
how
would
long
have
the
been, but
incubation
here's the
is.
thing: like, why take the chance
Yeah.
when we could lose the trail we love?
Right. I mean,
And it's hard for me because I actually took a different stance when it first happened.
yeah.
I was like, what? Like, I seen 700 people at Walmart today. I only seen 2 people on the trail, you know.
Right.
But yet, long term, if somebody would have got it, they would have
Yeah.
blamed the entire trail.
I guess that could have happened, but I try not to apply rules to other people that I don't apply to myself.
And I agree with that.
And to me, it's like I'm personally willing to, take the chance of getting COVID.
Right.
And I'm of course as safe as I can possibly be
Right.
in all the trail.
But
towns
I
and
also
everything,
understand why towns shut down and wouldn't let us in.
Yeah. So.
Because had somebody shown up and
Right.
brought COVID to their town,
The biggest thing that I have the problem with is that the ATC said that they wouldn't recognize any through hikers this year.
that irritated me.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: are you hiking for them or are you hiking for you?
Oh yeah, I'm hiking for
I
myself.
could give a rat's behind about
But-
their little emblem.
Yeah.
I know what I've
That-
hiked.
that-
You
after-
know what you've hiked.
After hiking in 2018, though, like I got my emblem, I got my name signed in the
Right.
book, and it's not the reason I hiked the trail, but it's kind of cool being part of that. That like it's documented.
Right.
That I did it. So.
But here's the thing:
Um,
I want to be documented, but at the same breath, I'm
Yeah.
still going to do it. And I still have
looking
done
from
it.
the political side, if it is a choice between like a chance of the trail getting shut down, which I kind of doubt that would happen, but like it's still a chance.
It's still
you
a
know?
chance.
Like like the chance between the trail getting shut down and getting your name signed in the book at the end, then yeah, like who cares about the name signed in the book?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
And I'm not. I honestly have never taken sides. I haven't. I have
Right.
helped hikers on both sides from the beginning. I help people get home to other countries. I've put up people in my home for months.
Right.
But the thing is it's not about that. It's about just doing the right thing,
Oh yeah. So.
you know. And when it comes down to it, it's like, can you do the right thing? And I'm
Yeah.
hoping everybody does, because most of the people I've hiked with on the trail have the biggest hearts I've ever met.
Oh yeah. So for sure.
You know, and so it's mostly the keyboard warriors that are waging a war.
Oh well, they're just bored and having fun.
Exactly. And none of them have ever hiked or ever
Right.
will hike,
Yeah. So.
you know.
I mean, they're
They're keyboard warriors.
Yeah,
They're just trying to cause
I think
strife.
I think that's what a lot of the stuff going on these days is people that are sitting bored and
Yeah.
they
Did you know that we had almost 12,000 people in 2020 page?
really wow.
How many think hiked?
Not maybe 10% maybe. So,
I think 1,200 out of that page hiked.
really yeah.
But the other ones condemned everyone for hiking. They even sent me private messages saying that if they saw me on trail, they'd shoot me
I mean that's
for
way
helping a hiker.
that's way more dangerous than COVID. So
Like,
that
I'm
doesn't
like,
make sense.
Yeah, like it's so stupid. Like, because I am gonna bring somebody resupply, I am killing people. That's what they said.
They're wrong.
And
Sorry.
I'm like, okay, these people don't have to go to town. I'm going to Walmart. They're
Well,
doing
one
a
of the
food
big-
drop in the back of my SUV. I'm not even talking to the person, and I'm
Right.
bringing it up the trail, and I'm advocating.
I mean, the thing is, like, now they've after doing some recalculation with the numbers, they've found out that the death rate of COVID is between 0.1 and 0.5.
Yeah.
And you want to know what the chances of dying by just being a person in America is? 1%.
And
So
did they?
at
Did,
the worst,
and at the same breath,
worst case scenario, you're twice as likely to die by just being a human being in America than by COVID.
and in
So,
the same breath, did
I
they
mean-
also say that when they shut down America, that they saved 22% who die in car accidents,
Oh,
which is way more than COVID would have done.
right. Yeah, I mean it's
Like,
well, the whole thing with the COVID thing that bothers me is all the people who are legitimately hurting from it and who and who can't get their voice, because like the protest came out about the COVID and everybody said like all these stupid people, they're just wanting to go get their hair cut, and it's like, no, these people are losing their lives, they're
Yeah.
losing their livelihoods,
Because depression
they're
is
losing,
real.
yeah. Well, not only that, they can't
And-
make the payments on their house. They lost their job. They can't
well,
put
it's
food
yeah.
on the
That's the
table,
thing is
you
like
know?
it's
I
not
mean,
only depression, but like I have friends who have teenage children who were making $80 a week, who now are making $700 and some dollars a week
really.
because they figured that the $680 a week on unemployment that Trump gave them,
Yeah.
they're going ahead and taking that for their children and getting them new cars.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's all made
But
up.
you and I
It's all made
and
up
the whole
money
middle
anyways.
class are going to pay for their children getting this huge
Well-
check when they were not even making
Yeah, I mean,
less than a tenth of that a week.
the money that came from the stimulus bailout too.
I haven't
it-
seen my stimulus check yet.
I got mine, and I'm not gonna lie, it was like, oh, cool, the stimulus money, but the
I'm
thing
still
is,
hoping to get mine. It'll
they-
make my hike easier.
yeah, they made up the money, like the Federal Reserve gave the money for it, and which means it was made up. So every dollar that got put into the U.S. economy to keep it alive devalued the U.S. dollar by that much. So it was really,
I hate to say
it's
this,
really
but
a nothing thing that happened, and just to like keep
the
people's
Canadian
hopes
dollar
alive.
keeps growing on us.
Yeah. So I mean, a couple of years ago, the euro beat us for a while. So
Yeah.
I mean, we took it back, but you know.
It's gonna beat us again because you cannot give the kind of money we have been giving up, and Trump allowed it for children 16, 15, even as young as 14, working a part-time job,
Yeah.
getting $680 a week. But here's the thing is like, God bless, like, at some point you gotta also use your own mental capacity and say, okay, I make this amount of money, my children don't deserve having this,
Right. So.
and not allow them to collect it.
I mean, like I've spent a lot of time. I mean, not a bunch of time, but I've spent some time looking into like the whole financial system and like where the money comes from. And since we were taken off the gold standard and then taken off of the petrodollar, the deal with OPEC, then our dollar is maintained by the U.S. military force and the trust we have in it. So it's already made up fake, magic
Oh, yeah.
paper squares. So
Yeah, it's
But-
like
so-
Bitcoin.
if
It's Bitcoin
if it's
at
all,
this point.
if it's already magic squares, then what's wrong with making more magic squares? I mean, at this point, it's like,
Yeah.
I've kind of lost all arguments when it comes to economics because I've come to the conclusion that it's all fake. It's
It's all Bitcoin.
It's all imaginary.
It's just
so.
Bitcoin. It is pixels.
Actually, I believe that Bitcoin has a more foundational value than the U.S.
Well,
dollar right now.
I should say pixels because Bitcoin actually has more monetary value than pixels.
It has a verifiably backed up source of where it came from. the U.S. dollar doesn't have a. You can't track. You can track every single dollar back to the Federal Reserve, but then
Yep.
where they get it from, that's the big question.
Well, they just start printing more, which
Yeah.
makes our dollar worth less.
Yeah, that's what the giant stimulus package was this year. So,
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
printed a bunch more paper stash,
and they
and at some point in time, the middle class
well the
has to pay
the,
back.
the Federal Reserve's job is to maintain the balance of the interest rates and the value of the dollar. But you know, and we just all have to hope and have faith that that's what their aim is. So,
Right.
and I mean, I don't know what their aim is. I've never met them. So
I don't know what anyone's aim is at this point in my world.
Yeah. So
Like, I just want a safe world for my grandchildren,
yeah.
and I don't
that's-
think we have that anymore.
We've never had it, and I don't think we ever will. But you can always make it better than it was.
But we all have to work together to get there.
Yeah. Everybody pick up their part. So that's it.
It's sad because not everyone's gonna willing to jump. Like,
Yeah.
I was talking
It's
to
kind
people
of sad in a way, but
because I am an LNT trainer,
yeah,
and last year when I was hiking this trail, I used to brag about how much trash I'd pick up.
right.
When I hit Irwin last year, I had only walked 40 miles on the trail, and I picked up 8.5 pounds of somebody else's trash.
Yeah.
Can you imagine carrying in your pack?
Oh, I do it all the time. Every piece of trash I see, I pick up.
Right,
yeah,
but here's
so.
the thing. Can you imagine town to town carrying 8 to 10 pounds of other people's trash every time?
Yeah, I've done it.
And I bent over, I picked it up. And this year, I'm like, probably every other because it's just too heavy this year.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to like burden yourself down and ruin
Right.
the hike with it, but like, I mean, one thing that's interesting about the trail is that the through hikers are really some of the best trail maintenance people out there because like
Absolutely, because
yeah,
none
yeah.
of us will leave nothing behind.
Yeah, and you're talking about like logs. Like if there's a log or a tree or
We all
anything
pick
that's
it up.
on the trail, that's
Get a bunch of
There's
us and
remote-
pull it off.
yeah. Like if I have the physical capability of moving it, it's going to be moved. You
Mhm.
know, like I mean, if it's like a legit full blown tree, then yeah, I can't do
I
nothing about
can't,
that.
but
But
I will try.